What's going on, brothers and sisters? I want to welcome you guys to Listener Feedback, episode number 35. And in this episode will be starring no other than Mr. Cody Clark. I want to thank you, brother, for writing in. It is always appreciated. And also joining him this week on this episode is Mr. Crimson Phoenix. Want to also thank you as well, brother, for always writing in. And I tell you, you guys keep this portion of the podcast alive. I got to tell you guys, a whole lot has truly happened this week. We don't know if Xbox is going to be around next generation. Are their games going to PS5? All kinds of stuff is going on. But we'll get into that a little later on down the line. But for you, the listener, if you want to be on the next episode of Listener Feedback, you can do it two different ways. You can either call in and let your voice be heard at 443-380-0281, or you can email the show, and the email address is simply the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com. So without further ado, since this is a show about you, the listener, let's get into the first email, which comes to us way of Mr. Cody Clark. Shout out to you, brother. Man, you sent me hey, brother. Hey, listen, hey, Cody, we gonna get into it, man. I got you. But your first email is titled, As Much As I Love My Xbox. Cody says, I have purchased 4 Xbox Elite 1s and 5 Elite 2s. Every Elite controller. Every Xbox One Elite had stick drift, as did my first 2 Elite 2s. I had busted shoulder bumpers and broken P1 and P4 low buttons, all in less than 2 years. But my old 360 controllers still work just fine. I want to pause right there just for a minute, Cody. You have bought a total of 9 of these Elite controllers, and they all had stick drift and shoulder bumper problem. Man, come on. Are you kidding? Aren't those controllers like $150 and $200? Cody, you gotta do a follow-up email on this, brother. Did Microsoft actually reimburse you for those controllers? Like each controller that broke, did they actually send you a new one for free? Because I would think with something being a quote premium product like those Elite controllers are supposed to be, that if something was to go wrong with them, you would be able to at least return them and they would give you one for free, or bare minimum, at the absolute minimum, give you maybe 50% off of the next purchase. I would want them to give me a brand new controller, because that's not a little bit of money. But this is so interesting. All of these Elite controllers costing as much as they cost. And Cody said, but yet he still has his old 360 controller that works just fine. What is going on? I didn't know it was that bad of a problem, Cody. I did hear from other people doing different podcasts, maybe a couple of different articles that said that they were having a little bit of trouble with their Xbox Elite controllers. But man, for you to have bought 9 of them and all 9 gave you problems, that says a lot. But Cody, do me a favor, man. Again, when you get a chance, send us an email to let us know, did Microsoft compensate you for these problems that you had? Or if any of you other guys have had these kind of problems that have Elite controllers, what did they do to you? Did they give you guys a new controller? Did they give you some of your money back? Did they send you a gift card? Tell me something. But Cody, I know you have a second part to this email where you say also, come on, Cody. He says everyone uses Unreal 5 and all looks the same. Boo! Not feeling it, K.
Boo this man!
That brother booed me off the doggone stage. I hear that, bro. Hey, listen, Cody, let me tell you something, man. There's something about that Unreal Engine 5, brother. It gets me. It gets me so excited. I mean, seeing games like Immortals, they look sensational. Even thinking about it, isn't Senua's Saga using Unreal Engine by Ninja Theory? That game looks sensational, my brother. It's just something about the aesthetic of it. And Cody, I hear you when you say they all look alike. To me, I can't say they all look alike, Cody. I don't know. Maybe it has that kind of, I don't know, that color palette that may be similar to each other. But man, Cody, I just love that engine. And granted, just because somebody's using Unreal Engine 5 doesn't mean that the game is going to be amazing. You do have to have talent, as it were, to make sure that, you know, these games are coming out to their best capacity, you know, to their fullest capacity of that team. They do have to be talented. I mean, there's some people that can really shake it up on other engines. I mean, golly, we see what Kojima's doing over there on the Decima engine. That Death Stranded too. Now, listen again. I'm not saying I'm picking it up, Cody. I don't think so, brother. Especially if it's like the first one. There ain't no way. They're going to have a whole lot more combat, whole lot more action in there for me to want to pick that up. But I will say graphically, though, that Decima engine, Death Stranding 2 looking amazing as it does. And then going over there looking at Horizon Forbidden West, absolutely an incredible graphical showpiece. I mean, it is more than just Unreal Engine 5 out there to make these different games sing. But for me, I'm just excited about it, Cody, because the thing that I've been hearing as well is that with this Unreal Engine 5 engine, it makes like smaller teams that may not have the budget as a AAA studio may have. It gives them a chance to give us some really great looking gaming experiences. I just think back to one game, if I can remember the name of it, doggone, as soon as I thought about it, it slipped my mind. But it was this one game that was on Game Pass. It was, I believe 2-player co-op, and they were using an engine as well, and it was a smaller team. And man, I'm gonna have to figure this out. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. The Ascent. That was the name of it. The Ascent. I don't know if any of y'all have played that game. The Ascent was phenomenal. Matter of fact, I got to give it up for them. Got to give it up to them for that. The Ascent was absolutely a phenomenal twin stick shooter. And that being a small team, they were able to deliver the graphics that they did with that game, and the gameplay was absolutely phenomenal. So when I'm thinking of Unreal Engine, and to be fair, I don't know if they necessarily used Unreal Engine on the Ascent. I'm not sure if that was the engine they used. But just looking at these smaller teams that'll be able to take advantage of the tools of Unreal Engine 5. Anytime I say the tools, I always think back to the Series X. They're going to have to use the tools eventually, you know. But hey, Cody, I understand your point, though. I hear you, my brother. But I'm still looking for those Unreal Engine 5 games, man. But Cody, I know you got a couple more emails here for me to read, brother. So I'm going to move forward with the next email. We're going to circle right back around to you again, Cody. But our next email comes to us via Mr. Crimson Phoenix, where the name of his email is entitled, or is it entitled or is it titled? Y'all got to tell me. I'll just say it's titled. Question of the week. Now, Crimson Phoenix says, how about I supply you with a few questions for your question of the week segment, if I may? Absolutely, brother. What you got here? He says, what makes you most hype for any given game? Okay. Now I can tell you that's his first question. So I'm going to answer it question by question, Crimson Phoenix. So what gets me or makes me most hyped for, any given game is the developer. It definitely depends on the developer first. You know, if you have a rock star, for me, I'm elated, brother. At one point in time, not so much lately, but if BioWare was coming out with the game, I would be extra hyped. I mean, I'm still excited about what they're going to do, but you know, the track record, it has just slipped a little bit, but, you know, it's the name, it's the developer that's behind the game. That's the first thing that gets me excited. The next thing that gets me excited is the premise. What kind of game is it? Is it an action adventure game? Is it if it's an RPG, I'll be a little iffy on it, but if it's a Western RPG and you're talking about CD Projekt Red, something like, oh man, I'm sold, brother. I'm sold. So that's the next thing that gets me excited, you know, just knowing what kind of genre it's going to be, because it has to be a genre that I'm into. If it's a JRPG, not so much. And it wouldn't matter if Rockstar was making it, if Capcom was making it, whoever. It could be, the Titanfall team, I'm forgetting their name, the ex Call of Duty team that actually is behind Titanfall. If they're making a JRPG or a turn-based RPG, it's no way. I'm not going to be excited at all, because that's not my kind of genre. But if it's a first-person shooter, like I said, action adventure, Western RPG, then I'm all for it. So and I would say the next thing that gets me excited is definitely the graphics. Come on, man. Y'all, man, I'm shallow. I'm the definition of shallow Hal when it comes to these games. I should have put that at the top of the list, the graphics, because okay, let's say developer, then the graphics, and then the genre. Because hey, listen, man, if they got a dope enough looking JRPG where it looks really, really, really good, and it really captures my attention on a graphical scale, I don't know, man. Hey, listen, Crimson, they might get my money. It's a big possibility they may get my money. I mean, I'm just thinking about Shift Up, who is a team that none of us have played any of their games yet, but they're the ones behind Stellar Blade. What was the thing that got me excited about Stellar Blade? It wasn't the yam burgers per se. It had nothing to do with that. But it was the graphics, Crimson Phoenix. It was the graphical prowess of this game that got me excited. Then it was the gameplay elements of it, looking kind of like a Bayonetta, looking like a Devil May Cry. You know, that fast hack and slash action adventure type of vibe to it. So yeah, it definitely, graphics play a big part in it for sure as well. And I would say Story definitely plays a big part. Not so much of a big part. It's always amazing to have an excellent story that's crafted, this very well written, with character development. But of course, we don't know that until we actually get into the game. So I would say story, as it were, it definitely plays a big role. So yeah, depending on how the game is actually marketed, if they're showing off some story beats that look like it could be very interesting, then yeah, that also gets me very, very excited as well. Let me see. Your next question here is it critical reception FOMO, graphics, gameplay, or simply this? Oh, shucks. I jumped the gun. God dog, Crimson Phoenix. He asked me everything that I just answered. My bad, Crimson Phoenix. I should have read it a little bit more. But again, let me make it clear though. His next question was, is it critical reception, FOMO, graphics, gameplay, or simply the story? How likely are you to replay games? Okay. Now replay. Oh man. You know, that one right there, Crimson Phoenix, is interesting because I cannot say that I have ever been on record fully playing through a game for a second time. I mean, as amazing as The Last of Us Part 2 was, my game of the generation, point blank, nothing was better last generation as far as I'm concerned. I mean, somebody could say The Witcher 3 was incredible, but I didn't finish The Witcher 3. You know, I did finish The Last of Us Part 2, and I thought that the graphics, gameplay, and the story was fantastic. But I cannot say that I would necessarily go through the game again for a second time, even when I upgraded to the PlayStation 5 version. I don't think I would go through the game. Excuse me, Crimson. I don't think I would go through the game again for a second time because I've already been through it. The thing that got me more excited about the remaster on PlayStation 5 was the extra features, you know, having the behind the scenes of looking at some scenes that didn't make it into the game, you know, things of that nature. And then, hold on, guys, I'm about to cough again. Pardon me. But just having those features, that's what got me more excited, not necessarily playing through the game again. So yeah, replaying a game really isn't something that I do normally, even if it's New Game Plus, even with that, which is that is an excellent feature to have because you actually get to continue all over again with bigger and better, equipment, your health bar is much bigger, you know, things of that nature to make certain things a little easier. And you're still continuing to level up in that New Game Plus mode. That's excellent. But I can't say that it would necessarily make me want to go back to play any game thus far. I mean, even Bulletstorm, I beat it on the 360. That was my favorite. And still to this day is my favorite first person shooter. I mean, it was just so much fun. I love the leash and that mechanic in the game. I've just never seen anything replicated to this day. It was just amazing. The boot to the face, it was fantastic. So I just wanted to go out there and show my support to People Can Fly and pick it up on the PlayStation 4. Not necessarily to even play it again, but just to really show support. I started it, played maybe through the first 2 levels, and I dropped it. So yeah, replaying games isn't really something I tend to do, Crimson Phoenix, too much. Now let's move on to the next part of your email. You say, please explain your answers. Okay, you say, for me, the first question is one or a combination of several, with the exception of it's never because of FOMO or critical reception, because more often than not, those are subject to biases. I'll never let anyone tell me I should play a game. I'll make my own mind up, and I don't follow market trends. I 100% agree with that. Yeah, because sometimes now this is interesting too, Crimson Phoenix, because right now it was a situation with Kill the Justice League. It was this narrative out there that was saying that the game wasn't that great. It wasn't very well done. The story, I heard the story might have been pretty good, but everything else about the game was supposed to be so bad, so terribly done by Rocksteady. But yet it's certain people that are coming out now that are actually saying, well, now that I've actually played the game, the full game, I have it at home, is actually a pretty good game. So I'm with you 100%. I never follow the trends. I never follow if something is critically acclaimed, because I don't care how critically acclaimed Elden Ring is. I'm not playing it, Crimson. I'm not doing it, my brother. It's because it's simply not my type of game. So even though the hype is going on, the FOMO, and, everybody wanting to jump on it immediately because of the hype train is going on, man, you can keep it. I was not moved. I still don't have Elden Ring because it's just not my type of genre of game to play. So I 100% respect you for that, Crimson Phoenix, following your own thought process, knowing what you like and not being influenced by any of these other so-called influencers out there. So let's move to the next part of your email. You say, and to answer the second question, yes, I do replay games, but only those I enjoy and want to revisit. Those are the only games I purchase to own. I hear you on that. Some people are actually achievement hunters, trophy hunters, where they'll even just go through a game for a second replay or even a third replay because they're simply trying to get the trophies or the achievements. Me, brother, you already know, Crimson. You've been around for a while, my good brother. I'm not really chasing any achievements or trophies or things like that. I mean, if they pop up as I'm playing the game, then that's fine. But to actually say that I would go back to actually play a game for a second time or a third time to get those things, I would be lying to you. I'd be being disingenuous. It doesn't hold that much weight to me. And plus, me, brother, I'm playing games on easy anyway, brother. So even the limited amount of achievements and trophies that I'm getting anyway isn't going to stack up enough. I've beaten certain games, Crimson. I can tell you this for a fact. I just beat God of War Ragnarok, went from start to finish, and even started on Valhalla, the DLC, which is absolutely phenomenal, I might add. I can tell you I probably got, for that whole adventure, 40 plus hours later, if I'm remembering correctly. I know it had to be like 40 plus hours I put into that game, and I maybe got about 13 trophies, about 13, and 11 of them were bronze. 11. So yeah, me playing on easy already puts me at a disadvantage for any achievements or any trophies. It just doesn't, they don't pop like that, but I do understand and can respect you though, Crimson Phoenix, actually going into it again, getting into a game that you enjoy. Like you said, those are the only games that you purchase, are games that you really enjoy, and you want to get the full amount of enjoyment out of those. So you go back and play them for a second time. I don't see anything wrong with that, good brother. Now I'm going to get to your final part of your email. You said, same goes for movies and music. I currently own around 1,300 Blu-ray movies. God, dog. Where are you putting those things at, Crimson? Man, this brother probably has a huge doggone, what do you call it? I'm trying to think, those units where you actually can hold movies into them. Man, this brother has a mansion probably, man. I feel you, bro. 1,300? God, dog, that's a lot. I mean, some of you guys that are collectors, you might be saying, that ain't all that much, Kiaun. To me, that is a ton. 1,300 Blu-ray movies. He says, just my faves and around 400 music CDs. And yet I love the convenience of services like Netflix and Disney Plus and Spotify. It gives me the ability to be frugal, and smart with my money and only buy the thing I truly want. So for me, Game Pass is a no-brainer. I'm not out $30, $50, $60, $70, or $70 if I decide to try a game and end up not liking it. I.e., I own every Forza, Gears, and Halo game, including Infinite, physically. and buy every DLC, upgraded version, etc. So I do support the things I'm passionate about. And I'll tell you something, Crimson, I understand that as well. I can understand the Game Pass angle for some people. You know, it's the best try before you buy service that is offered in gaming. Like you said, you're able to save money. You're able to be more frugal. And that goes for Netflix as well. It might be a movie that you might be a little iffy on. If it's on Netflix, you go on and look at it. If it was up to your standard, you'll go out there and you'll buy it. Same thing as music. Now, music, I understand music is a little different now because I can't remember the last time I've actually seen a new music CD. I think the last music CD I bought, it had to be, it was a Drake, album. It was the one where his head was in the clouds, on the album cover. That was the last album I bought from the store, I believe. It was that and maybe, Maybach Music. I think it was volume 3 or 4. I mean, like I said, it's been so long ago, I can't even remember, the last time that was the case where I saw music CDs in the store. So Spotify completely makes nothing but absolute sense because I don't even think you can go out there and buy music CDs like that too much. I know that was one of the first things I saw in retail actually leave relatively quickly once these services like Spotify and Apple Music actually start really taking off. So I get it, man. And also, like you said, just staying on the frugal part. I'm one of the cheapest people. I'm gonna tell you this, Crimson Fiend. I'm one of the cheapest people you'll ever meet, my brother. I truly am. I try to be as frugal as possible, so I'm not into really spending my money on just anything either. But I will say for me, as a gamer and it being my most favorite hobby, like all of us here, I know it has to be one of your favorite hobbies. I'm not saying you particularly, Crimson, because I don't want to speak for you, brother, but I'm saying that most of us, that are here are big fans of gaming, so for me, I'd rather own it. And I understand what you're saying too, Crimson. You're saying that if you like it, you will go out and buy it, but for me, I'd rather just buy it and not really have the service because like I said, I'm playing it one game at a time, Crimson. And I understand the Game Pass having all of those other games available for me to just click download on and I would be able to play for that one time, fee a month of, I think, $18. It would give me access to so many games. But to me, it's like whenever I play a game, it's like I'm just playing that one game the whole time until I finish. Because I've learned that over the years, Crimson, if I try to play more than one game at a time, I end up finishing nothing. I never finish, or the game that I started, I never go back to. So it just works out for me just to go out there and concentrate on the one game that I'm buying and then move on to the next one. Because for me, with Game Pass, I would probably be so all over the place, not being able to concentrate on one game, per session until I beat it. But, everything, that's why there are options out there because not everybody is the same. Let me see. And the last thing you said is, this is kind. Thank you, brother. You say truly a fan. Share if you would like or not. The choice is yours. Oh, no. Well, I shared everything I had, Crimson. No, brother, I really, really appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. This was a fun email, man. I really enjoyed that, Crimson. Again, brother, it's always appreciated when you write in. Like I tell all of you guys, if it's not for y'all writing in, the show doesn't happen. Now, granted, last couple of weeks it's been my fault that the show hasn't happened because I've been sitting on these emails. To be fair, Cody sent me that email, the first email I read, January 14th. So we're talking about doggone near going on a month it had been since I was able to get to the email. So again, I appreciate you guys writing in. Thank you guys for the patience as well. But like I was saying, without you guys writing in, this show does not happen because it truly is fueled by you guys. So let's get into your next email here, Crimson, because I'm taking them in the order that I got them. So Crimson, your next email here is titled Dev Direct. You say, I now have a better idea what I anticipate to be games I look forward to. Number 1, Hellblade 2 Hellblade 2 didn't need to see more, but this time we get a release date. Woo, woo. In my opinion, it's going to be fire. I 100% agree. Now, I know that I said on the last episode that, Senua's Saga was going to be 8 hours long, and the reason for that could be because it's in Game Pass, but that doesn't necessarily add up either because they do have longer titles inside of the service. So that was a misstep on my part. I do apologize, and I take that back. But for me, again, 8 hours, even if it's 8, 7, whatever hours long as it's a great game, that's what matters. I'm probably in the minority by saying that I don't mind shorter experiences. I mean, two of my favorite games that were AA titles, that were released last generation was Little Nightmares, which was a phenomenal game. I loved it. It was excellent. Had a fantastic time with it. I thought it was, very well done, but it wasn't long. It was probably like a 4 or 5 hour experience, which was fantastic. And then another one of my favorite smaller titles from last gen was Inside. Inside was another great game. It was small, didn't take long to beat, but that experience, that gaming experience spoke volumes for the short amount of time that I had spent with the game. So again, I'm just saying that to reiterate that I'm not against shorter games, and I'm not in the boat that just because a game is shorter means that it's less valuable. So again, I would say that Senua's Saga is definitely probably in my top 5 most anticipated games for this year. Maybe top 10, maybe somewhere around there. Definitely a game I want to play. I absolutely love Ninja Theory. I know I say it time and time again, but I'm just a huge fan of theirs. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that one as well. On your list, you got number 2, Indiana Jones. A bit disappointed in getting only a release window. But man, did I love how the game looks and plays. And it is coming this year. Can't wait. I agree. Hey, listen, man. That Indiana Jones, man. Oh, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to that too, Crimson. I really am. To me, that was the showstopper of that show. That was the one that I was most impressed with, because I'm with you. We've seen Hellblade 2 for like the last 3 years. Didn't we see that at, if I'm not mistaken, was that at the Game Awards of 2019, I believe? 2019, I think they showed that off for the first time. And now 2024 is finally coming out. So we've been seeing that game for, like 5 years right now. So yeah, I'm with you. It was like one of those things where we've seen this already. It's cool, but show us something new. So Indiana Jones really filled that void. I was very excited about it. I'm hoping too, Crimson Phoenix, that's a good point. a lot of people are a little disappointed at just getting a release window, because with that release window, people's fear is it's going to slip into, 2025, possibly. It's too many open windows, as it were, for it to slip out of. So I do understand a little bit of your concern with that, but just the fact that, and we can only go off of what we know right now, just the fact that it's coming out this year, that is phenomenal. And it looks really, really good. It looks great. So Machine Games being behind this one, we know their pedigree. We know what they've done with Doom. Not Doom. Wolfenstein. We know their pedigree on Wolfenstein and what they've been able to bring to the table. So yeah, I'm very, very excited about this one as well. Graphically, it looked good. Gameplay, I do like the fact that it is in first person, but there are certain parts of the game that you will see in third person. So I'm very interested to see how they actually kind of marry the two together as far as like gameplay elements are going to be concerned inside of the game. So yeah, I couldn't agree more, Crimson. I'm very excited about that one as well. And to continue on with your email, you say number 3, Avowed. Man, where do I start? The first trailer I've seen, it looked excellent for all its darkness and graphics. Then it seemed the game flipped over to a more vibrant, colorful look, which is fine because I've enjoyed games that look somewhat the same. I was just really getting used to the idea of it being dark and gritty. So I was kind of changing my mind whether or not I was going to want to play, but this last trailer sucked me right back in. Hey, listen, man, Avowed, like I told you guys, I remember Avowed wasn't necessarily a game that I was looking forward to, Crimson, not too much. I mean, it kind of looked like it was going to be kind of like Elder Scroll, something along those lines. And I haven't really played Elder Scroll, haven't really been a fan of those games too much. But the thing that you mentioned, though, I want to just backtrack a little bit. A lot of people, that was something that a lot of people actually brought up by saying that the look of the game actually flipped. You're right, where it looked more before it looked more gritty, more dark, but then we saw it again and it had more vibrant colors, looked more bright, and just didn't look like the same game that originally was advertised. But I am glad that, this trailer right here sucked you back in. And what I was going to say, Crimson, to that point is, I had saw it on my phone, and I mentioned this on the regular podcast, but, so I apologize for, retelling this. But when I first saw it on my phone, when I was on the road, I wasn't very impressed with it. I was like, man, this game doesn't look good at all. This looks like something that could have been played on Xbox One and possibly 360. Now, all right, I went a little too far with that. Crimson. I don't know about 360. I ain't gonna go that far, but I was not graphically impressed by what they showed. But then when I got home, my good brother, and I saw it in a higher resolution on the big screen, hey, man, I got to admit, Crimson, I sat there and I said, man, oh, man, this does not look bad at all. This may be something I ain't going to lie to you. Listen, brother, you asked me this question earlier in the podcast, brother. What games, what really gets me excited about a game? I gotta be honest with you, brother. Last thing I want to do is lie to any of y'all, man. Lie to y'all intentionally. If I get something wrong and I didn't know, that's one thing. But to sit up here and lie completely knowing it's a lie, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that, brother. So what I will say is I saw this game and it looked good. But is it my kind of game, Cody? I mean, I said Cody. God, dog, my bad, Crimson. Sorry, pardon me, brother. Is it my kind of game, Crimson? Man, I don't think so, brother. I don't think so. But that doesn't mean it's not going to be a great game. It's just not a game for me. Now, again, I was very impressed by the graphics of the game. I thought it looked really, really good. But I just don't know if I would go out and buy this one. I'm not too sure. Oh, no, you know what? If you like it, Crimson, when this thing comes out, brother, if it's a game that you can vouch for and you can say, listen, man, I think you should try this. If it's not like RPG heavy, because that's the thing, it looks like it's going to be. Now, if it's Western RPG heavy, which it more than likely is going to be, I'm not against that. But you just let me know how things are looking when it comes to this one, Crimson, and I'll make a decision then. I got to get an Xbox. Hey, listen, hold on, man. Let me finish up your email real quick, though. Crimson, pardon me, brother. You say, as for the rest, for me, it's meh, or I'm just not into those types of games. No shame to anyone who is. And that's exactly how, I'm so glad you said that. That's exactly how I feel about Avowed. I was impressed with what I saw. I definitely was. But would it be a game that I would go out and buy? I'm leaning towards not really, but to those that do love the game, that are very interested in it, I'm very, very happy that it's a game that you can see yourself playing. So I want to say, kudos to y'all, for, being excited for the game, and don't let anybody take away your excitement. Make sure that if it's a game you're excited about, stay excited about it, man. I'm all for it. Because there are games that I get excited for that others are like, man, that ain't for me, but, let me finish up your email here. You said, I'll give the show a solid 8 out of 10. I wanted release dates, not windows. And that was exactly the same score that I gave it, Crimson. I gave it an 8 out of 10 as well. I thought that what they showed was very well done. I enjoyed the pacing. I enjoyed the game selection that they chose, because the one thing about that show that they had was diversity. And that was something that I thought was fantastic. If you're into, like I said, Western RPGs, it looks like Avowed is going to do it for you. If you're into action adventure, looks like Senua Saga, that's going to do it for you. If you're into first person first person action adventure games, then Indiana Jones is going to do it for you as well. So, and then if you're into more traditional JRPGs, they had the Mana game that was actually there. I know it's not exclusive, but still, it showed up at their show, which is huge. So I just love the fact that they had so much diversity in the show. Like I said, the pacing was well done, and it was just great to see that Microsoft is finally clicking on all cylinders with the games that they're starting to finally release, which leads me to this. And Crimson Phoenix, again, brother, thank you again so much for the email. I really, really appreciate it, brother. Now, before I get into Cody's last email, because brother Cody, you know I got love for you, good brother. You know I got a lot of love for you, man. Cody is like the OG. This brother been rocking out since the show practically started. So you know I got a lot of love for you, brother. But this email, man, you sent me a novel-sized soliloquy out this joint. Man, this email, man, I'm going to have to break this down in parts, Cody. So what I was going to say, though, before I get to your email, Cody, I'm kind of wondering, where should I go? Should I do your email first or go to Xbox? You know what? I'm going to read your email because this show is about you guys. So, yeah, let me be respectful, and I will read your email before I get to my thoughts about Xbox and things that are going on over there in Redmond. So let's get started with your email. And As always, I'm had to break this down because this is a beast of an email, brother. Okay, so the title of your email is a Terrius on mean companies and gaming spaces. All right, here we go, Cody. Oh, shucks. Brother, I'm going to tell you something before I read this, man. Before I read this doggone email, you are going to have the record by alongside nobody. Please, I'm not trying to give anybody any ideas. Crimson, don't try this, brother. Don't attempt this. But this is the longest email in the show's history. Right here. And please, nobody try to top this. I don't want what it is again. Okay. All right, please. All right, Cody, here we go, brother. You say not really. I'm not Sir Isaac Newton or Stephen Hawking. You put that in parentheses. Okay. You say not sure I can square the circle of Microsoft. Greedy equals Xbox suffers. You don't think? All right. I'm not going to get excited, Cody. Okay. All right. Let's read your email here, brother. You know I get excited. Pardon me, brother. Okay. He says, I can totally agree with them axing 2,000 jobs and it being some bull hockey $3 trillion market cap like Apple. I get it. He says, it's not Elon Musk telling Tesla to give him a $26 billion, and in parentheses he puts, or whatever stupid amount of money his white privileged South African bum thinks he is owed because he is a bigot and a jerk. God dog, tell him how you really feel, Cody. Gee whiz, this brother don't like Elon at all. He says, and he does not deserve any of that bank. Hi, dog. Hey, man, $26 billion. I'm not, now I got to be honest with you, Cody. I'm not up to snuff on what's going on with him and, him asking Tesla for $26 billion. I have no idea, but I'm going to continue on with your email. He says, but we can look at Apple for an example. When Mr. Jobs was in control, they got rid of charity in the company. In fact, in Apple's early days, he cut the company's philanthropic programs, saying that they would return when the company was more profitable. Despite Apple's enormous success, the charitable programs were never reinstated. Those Apple IIs in schools in the day profit, not charity. Man, let me ask you something, Cody. Were those Apple IIs, were they the ones that had Oregon Trail on them? You gotta get back to me, brother. You gotta hit me up with a couple of follow-up emails on this. So let me continue. And the reason why I'm reading this last stuff loudly is because he wrote this in all bold caps. So I want to make sure that I'm giving you the feeling that this brother had with his words. So let me continue. He says, so Microsoft is already better in that one stripe than some other groups. Yeah, I actually did some research, Cody. It looks like Microsoft is continuously giving back to different communities, different outreach groups, coming up with, well, not coming up with, but donating a lot of money to different charities, man. I actually looked that up. And it is true. They have definitely, kept the philanthropy work, going, inside of Microsoft. So yeah, I can see your point there. He says Sony used to be a premier chip and computer maker along with movies and music. How much technology did they cut or sell? Ask Goose. Oh, shout out to Goose. Man, Goose, where the heck you at, brother? Call me, man. Man, I'd like to talk to you, brother. He says, heck, I'm sure he told you back in the day when Microsoft and Samsung bought most of their tech patents and IPs. Yeah, Goose. He told me a couple things. He told me a few things. He said currently Sony are doing every roll, juke, and backflip to hold on to Spider-Man and all of its related IPs. Look at Venom. Look at the Madam Web movie. Why are they doing those? To buy time so Papa Disney can't pull them back. Why not buy Sony? They would have to deal with another movie studio, music studio, and the PlayStation. Plus, it's not listed in the US. It's on the Japanese market. So they would have to fight the Japanese government to deal with them. Man, see, the reason why I keep pausing, Cody, is because there's a lot to take in, brother. I'm trying to do a play-by-play here. So that's why I'm stopping, reading your email to answer some of this stuff on the go, because there's no way I'm going to be able to read this whole email and be able to answer everything, at least, from my perspective, be able to answer everything at the end of it. So that's why I'm trying to break it up piece by piece. But yeah, so let me see. So Sony, having the chips and all. But I mean, isn't that good business though, Cody, that, if Microsoft and Samsung come along and they want to buy some of their patents and some of their IPs, maybe, because we read about these patents all the time though, Cody, right? And pardon me if I'm kind of on a whole nother thing where I'm not connecting the dots here with your email. But wouldn't it be the best thing for them if it's a technology or an IP that they're not planning on using to sell it off instead of having it sit? And I understand what you're saying. They're going through all of these loops and hoops and, doing all kinds of things to make sure that they're able to hold on to the Spider-Man IP. But I would just think that this would be normal for them to do that. And I understand also that they wouldn't be able to buy them, Disney, that is, because, they would have to go through the Japanese government to, get that situation, taken care of. Now let me continue on with your email here, Cody. He says, now, this is all normal text here, so I ain't got to be too loud with this. He says, as far as Xbox goes currently, it looks like most physical releases are getting shut down, but they have left most of their studios intact. And physical releases have declined by like 90%. I suck at math, but even I know a dead horse when I see one. It's a specialist market now, like retro games and consoles or designer Rubik's cubes. Now, this one right here, this point right here, this is something that it makes me nervous, Cody. Seeing that Microsoft is going wholeheartedly into the digital space. I don't like it for the simple fact, and I understand it's inevitable. Like you said, 90%. I can't say 100% that is the actual number, Cody, 90%, or maybe you were being a little facetious, with the number, just saying that, hey, nobody is barely buying physical. I know that's the truth. I know it is, Cody, but, I just don't like the fact that them shutting down that whole department, that means and says to me that if there is a new Xbox for the next generation, it's all digital. And whenever something is all digital, you got to go to their storefront to get the games. And what worries me about that is when it gets to that point, Cody, they kind of have like a monopoly on the market, as it were, in their ecosystem, where if they want to change the prices of their games, make them $90, $100, and they only offer you the premium edition of the game, then where can you go? Who else can you turn to? Can you go to GameStop? No, you can't go to Best Buy, can't go to Walmart, can't go to Target. You're stuck in that ecosystem. And that worries me a bit, because even on PC, I know that the biggest platform for PC, and I'm not a PC gamer, not by any stretch of the imagination, but I know it's Steam. That's the big storefront, but they also have other storefronts that you can go to inside of the PC gaming realm. You can go to Green Man Gaming, Ubisoft. That was stupid because Ubisoft is only going to have Ubisoft games. EA is going to only have EA games, but that just goes back to the point of if you don't want to buy it on Steam, you're not forced to. But if you're talking about Xbox going all digital, then you don't have another storefront. You're stuck in their ecosystem with nowhere else to go. So that makes me a little fearful as far as what they'll be able to do when it comes to their price points and actually selling their games. You know, how much are they going to charge? Because we know, like with any company out here, we all know, Cody, we all know this, that none of these corporations are our friends. I don't know why some people don't believe that these corporations, they love us. You know, I'm their friend. Phil Spencer knows me personally. I understand that, but at the end of the day, they're going to do what they got to do, which is best for the business and the shareholders. So for me, just, from that perspective, I just don't trust these guys, you know, and what they will possibly do when there is no competition or any other, there's nothing else that they need to be concerned about because they are the only place that you can go to get their games. But we'll see what happens. I don't like the future of it, but we'll see. Let me continue with your email. You say, sure, Project Dakota and Lionhead and a few older studios got the axe years ago. But to be honest, even I wanted them to axe Peter Molyneux lead project. Listen, man, Peter Molyneux.
Move this man!
Peter Molyneux, man, this guy could sell, I don't know, man. He could sell, anything. He could make such grand promises where he would just have you all in on what he was talking about. The tree is going to grow from a seed and you're going to come back in the game and it's going to be a fully sprouted tree. Golly, with cherries and strawberries and oranges on it, all that stuff. Of course, he didn't say the strawberries and oranges, but he might as well had the way he was selling it. Yeah, that guy, man, that was the definition of a snake oil salesman right there. I hear you, brother. Fully understand where you're coming from with Peter Molyneux, and them having to shut down Lionhead. I wasn't the biggest Fable fan either, Cody, so it didn't really matter to me too much. I thought Lionhead was from what I'd heard from the Fable games, they were a good studio, but things just didn't work out. Peter Molyneux, we'll see what happens with that guy. You know, we got another project coming out, Cody, so we'll see if he start trying to sell all of these dreams and hopes. But let's continue on with your email because there's still quite a bit more here. You say, 343 seems to have really dropped the ball on Halo Infinite, but they put the screws to them and have been working on making it better, playable fun. Remember the burning pit that was the Master Chief Collect. Ooh, he says it is seen as a premier Halo and Xbox experience now, a true phoenix from the ashes. Yeah, man, from what I've heard. Now again, Cody, you know I don't have a Series X right now. I do plan on, I'll say I at least was planning on getting a Series X, until all of this stuff came out this week, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But, from what I've heard though, the Halo Infinite actually is a really good game, especially the multiplayer on it has come a long way. It was very slow at first, but it seems to me, listening to certain podcasts, that they've really started to kind of come into their own with that game. And that, Master Chief Collection, yeah, when that first came out, that was a dumpster fire. You are absolutely right. But, like you said, as time went on, they were able to fix it, able to get it together. So it does go to your point. As you said, a true phoenix from the ashes story. Yeah, because Halo was in a bad state, man. Really, really bad state. Now, again, I can't speak to how great Halo would be for me because I haven't played Infinite, yet. But, you're not by yourself. You know, many people in the community have said the same thing, that Halo seems to really be back and they're doing really, really well. They're doing great work with that franchise. So yeah, it makes sense. A Phoenix from the ashes, kind of storyline. Let's continue on. You say they have the premier digital gaming distribution for console and outside of Dag, I guess I jumped the gun again. God darn. You say they have the premier digital gaming distribution for console and outside of Steam. They are crushing Epic Games. They are not selling out to Tencent, and they are not pulling a Ubisoft and saying you don't own your games. My way, if looking at it is your Xbox ID is your own digital bookcase. That stuff you got lined up on the digital shelf. It's yours as long as you play nice with Xbox. They will bend over backwards to make it accessible to the next generation. How many times has Nintendo made players buy Mario 1, 2, 3, or Zelda? Yeah, now see, that's an interesting point. Now, if they were to carry it that way, Cody, where your Xbox ID would be like your digital book. I don't know, Cody. I get what you're saying, brother. I understand it. But man, it's just the all digital future. I know it's nothing that I can do about it. None of us can do anything about it. But man, that's a great point that you bring up with Nintendo, making you buy all of these games over again. Now, it does look like that's going to change with the Switch 2, possibly, where you'll be able to actually continue to carry your old games over to that new console and not have to buy them over again. But again, man, just for Xbox, or any of these platforms, bringing your games over digitally and them actually staying with you. I know that's something on PC that they've never had to really worry about too much. But again, I'm not versed in PC gaming at all, so I could be wrong on that, where people may have lost some games, because I can tell you this for a fact, Cody, on the Xbox brand itself, there have been games that I have bought in the past, like Double Dragon was a game I bought in the past, and like 2 or 3 other games that were only digital. Matter of fact, I just bought Ninja Gaiden, the arcade version, on the PlayStation 5, and I got ripped off. All of those games, they ended up missing. They were gone. They were no longer in my digital library. I didn't have access to them. I didn't get a refund. They just took them. So I'm thinking that with this digital only future, what happens when certain licenses run out? I mean, we know that some of this music is licensed for so many years, or certain cars are licensed for a time frame. What happens when things start to happen where it's a conflict with the licensing, and because of that license, they can no longer offer this game to you? What happens? Are they going to just take it off of your digital library, like they did for me? The last like 3 or 4 games that I bought a couple of years ago. That's the part that really makes me wonder what is going to happen if we're all subject to just all digital future on all fronts. Again, this has nothing to do with just Xbox, but everybody, every platform. It just worries me a little bit. But let me get to your last couple of paragraphs here, Cody. You said, how many times is Square going to oh, come on, Cody. This brother said, how many times is Square going to re-release or remaster as an episodic game Final Fantasy VII? It's not even that good of a game. Oh, come on, Cody. Come on, brother. You say go play SWTOR. Oh, yeah. Or Mass Effect 2. How about we remaster Deus Ex? Hey, they would have remastered Deus Ex, but the studio got shut down. Cody, they shut them down, good brother. You say Lara Croft, etc. All right, Square sold off those IP. Ah, dog, Cody, come on, brother. Man, Cody, listen, man. I just played Final Fantasy VII Rebirth right before I start recording. Man, that game is dope, brother. Come on, Cody. Don't do Final Fantasy like that, brother. The game, it was a genre defining game when it came out back in 97. But again, to be fair, like Crimson Phoenix said, when he was asking me my different questions about what gets me excited about a game, maybe for you, Cody, it just didn't check off those boxes. So who am I to tell you that, that your answer is not the correct answer? It is the correct answer for you, my good brother. So if you think it's overrated and it's not that great of a game, I gotta respect that, brother. I gotta respect your opinion, man, because you always respect mine. But I will say for me though, Cody, because I got to say this, brother. I got to. Final Fantasy VII on the original PlayStation, and I just told y'all, I'm not into JRPGs at all. I bought that game because it just simply had the graphics. It had the graphics that made me say, what is this? I've never seen storytelling like this done before. And it goes back again to your email, Crimson Phoenix. You were asking me what were some of the things. I told you graphics, man, that would definitely possibly sway me. So back in 97, golly, what was I? I was 18 back in 97. Man, even at that early of an age, graphics was always a big factor into what I would buy. And graphically, I was sold. Took me a while to get used to the turn-based combat. But then when the story came into play, Cody, that game was sensational, man. And then the summons that you could get, it was like a movie. It was like the graphics. I had never seen a presentation like it in my life at that point in time. So seeing these remakes of Final Fantasy VII, we all wanted this. Definitely not all of us, because Cody is not impressed. My good brother said he's tired of it. But for a lot of players, though, Cody, this is what we wanted. We wanted to see Final Fantasy VII get remade and have the graphics that it has today. Because when we saw that movie years ago, it was Advent Children was one, but I think the other movie that they came out with was The Spirits Within, I believe. When we saw that when I saw that movie, I said, man, I can't imagine Final Fantasy VII looking like this. This would be unbelievable. Then Advent Children came out, and I'm like, oh man, I would love to see this. So they're just giving the fans what they asked for, Cody. That's all. PlayStation did it back in the PlayStation 3 era, where they showed off that mock-up of, Final Fantasy VII, actually how it would look on the PlayStation 3. So when they did that, it was game over, my good brother. It was game over. And I can tell you, playing that demo, God dog, Cody, that game is going to be amazing, brother. I will be picking it up. Am I getting it day one? Absolutely not. But There will be a game that I will definitely be picking up. And for any of y'all that are interested and have a PlayStation 5, that demo is live right now. We went live yesterday. I just got a chance to play it today. But Cody, I'm going to finish up your email here, man. We just got a little bit more to go. And trust me, I understand. Yeah, Mass Effect was incredible as well. But I mean, it's a great game, Cody. It's a great game. Let me finish up, brother. You say, nah, Xbox gets that. He says Xbox gets that people have a kink for games and have special niches that need to be filled. K, they are just letting us choose Xbox or PC or cell phone or tablet or sharing with Nintendo or forcing Sony to play with the other kids as a way to keep it square. I'm going to talk to you about that. He says Microsoft is the big brother keeping Facebook and Google and Amazon from Monty Python stomping the smaller gaming industry. Man, I don't know about that, Cody. We saw what happened with Google when them jokers tried to get in the game. They got stomped out. They didn't make it 3 years with that doggone Stadia joint, man. They thought they was going to waltz in to the gaming industry, throw their money around, and they were going to be able to do something. They got beat the heck up, Cody. They got them the heck up out of here as soon as they came in. They ain't last any time. Did they even release an exclusive IP on Stadia? I think they had planned on it, but they shut down before they got a chance to. That's the thing. Amazon, they can try to come in. Facebook can try to come in. They have one of my favorite developers from last generation, the Order 1886. Those guys, they actually work over at Facebook. They are doing nothing, Cody, at all. So I'm not going to say that Microsoft is, keeping, these companies at bay from, killing the smaller, companies like Sony and Nintendo. Ain't no way Sony is running the table on all these jokers. So is Nintendo. I mean, they could come and try. Now, if they're trying to buy them, Cody, now that's another situation. If Amazon or Google is trying to come in and literally purchase Sony or PlayStation or Nintendo, I mean, I still don't think they would sell, which again goes back to what I'm saying is, I don't think Microsoft is holding anybody, up from, getting stomped out from anybody, because Microsoft on a gaming side is getting stomped out right now, Cody. They're getting stomped out so bad that they're thinking about, at least all we can go off of is what we know right now, is they're thinking about giving their games over to Sony and Nintendo. But yet Nintendo and Sony, you don't hear them outside of MLB. And that wasn't even Sony's decision. MLB made them do that in order to make sure that they could keep developing the MLB games. They have that over on Xbox in Game Pass even, which is a flex. I will say Microsoft, the Xbox brand, definitely has a flex on that, where they get a Sony first party game in their service day and date, and PlayStation gamers have to go out and pay full price for that same game. That is, that's got to hurt, even if it's just a little bit, that is the case. So I will give you that. But they getting beat up right now, Cody. They talking about bringing Hi-Fi Rush to PlayStation, talking about Gears of War going to PlayStation, talking about doggone Gears of War, Halo. I mean, this stuff is madness, but we're going to get into that in just a minute, Cody, but I got to disagree with you on that. And then, talking about that they're spreading this stuff around from Xbox to PC to cell phones to tablet. But do you see what's happening though, Cody? They started this path with just PC at first, right? 2016. Soon as that happened, I'm on record saying this is going to backfire. This is going to do nothing for the Xbox brand. Everybody kept saying, well, this is going to make it so everybody wants to get into the Xbox ecosystem because, hey, you can purchase the games over on PC. That's going to get people excited to get into the ecosystem. How did that work out? How did that work out for the Xbox brand? It didn't grow. It's in the pits right now. All because of this model. So they started out with the PC. Then they went to Steam. Now, all of a sudden, it's like a rabbit hole. Now we're hearing that they're putting their games on Nintendo and on PlayStation. And just the fact that Phil Spencer is saying next week, we're going to have a business meeting to talk about. Come on, Cody. This is no good, brother. The thing that I think of is if they keep doing this, eventually the Xbox is going to go away. Because they're not going to have a need for it. No matter if people say that, Game Pass is still going to be the driving force, behind it. Because I was looking at his show. Shout out to him. I got nothing but respect for the guy. Shucks. Now I forgot his name. Anyway, for the sake of time, I can't remember his name, but it was a show that was on. It was an Xbox-centric show, and he was saying as long as Game Pass is around, he will be on the Xbox brand. But the question has to go to, but how long is the Xbox, literally the Xbox console, going to be around if they're starting to spread their games to more and more platforms? I mean, we've heard Phil Spencer. You got to call him out on it. It's been lies. And I'm only speaking about Phil Spencer from the business side of things, not Phil Spencer, the person, but Phil Spencer, the Xbox exec. I'm only speaking of him from that position, but he has lied time and time again. He said that their games would only show up. Xbox games would only show up on platforms that have Game Pass. Now, unless next week, when we hear this, whatever's going to happen with their business plan of Xbox, unless we hear the Game Pass is actually going to PlayStation and going to Nintendo, then that was a lie. So let me finish up your email here, though, Cody. Let me finish it up, brother. You say, are they greedy? Yes. Is there a lot of BS and bad juju? Yes. Are they the same thing as North Korea or YouTube or Google or Amazon or Facebook, Meta, whatever? Not even close. They actually care about their reputation. Cody Clark, brother. God, dog. You know what, man? Shout out to you, brother. Man, it's a long email, man. Shout out to you for thinking of the show enough to actually write a real soliloquy out. Man, my brother Cody Clark, man, he had a lot to say. Shout out to you for this, man. This thing was very, very lengthy. The thing I'll say, Cody, is just about Microsoft in general. I understand the layoffs. I get that. With any big acquisition, there are going to be positions that are redundant with that, so you can't keep everybody. And in the grand scheme of things, matter of fact, I'm going to try to look this up real quick just to see. We'll try to find this out together. How many employees does Microsoft have?
According to LinkedIn, because impact matters, Microsoft operates in 190 countries and is made up of more than 220,000 passionate employees worldwide.
So that's 220,000 employees worldwide. So that is a astronomical amount of people that have jobs inside of Microsoft. And I'm saying Microsoft as a whole because Xbox is under the Microsoft banner. So when you talk about 1,900 people losing their job, which is a lot of people, but when you compare it to a grand total of 220,000 employees worldwide, that's just a small drop in the bucket. And I'm not saying that in the way of dismissing what has happened to these people. I'm not saying it from that perspective at all. But it's a big deal. But when you look at how many employees they actually have, you can't get but so mad at that number. And especially, again, since this is partly to blame to an acquisition where there are thousands of new employees coming into the door. So I would just say that, Xbox as a whole was a lot that happened this week pertaining to the brand. You had lifers that have been really, they've been shaken by this a little bit. Guys that have been around in the Xbox community for a long time. Guys that actually know the execs. They know Phil Spencer. They know Aaron Greenberg. Matt Booty actually have had conversations with these guys. And even some of them are talking about that they're out. Tim Dog, one of the guys that have been around the Xbox brand for a very long time, he said that he is out. I mean, I respected what he said too, though. He said he's not going to bad talk him. He's not going to say anything bad about Phil Spencer or anybody on the team. He's not going to badmouth him, but he is out. He said this is just a bridge too far. Not his words, but in so many words, he was just saying this is too far of a move. You had guys that were with you in the trenches when you were struggling, didn't have the games, would have dry years like in 2022 when there was basically nothing that was released. And finally, you get on some even ground. Finally, you're starting to get these games to start to roll out. And now we're hearing talks that you're going to start shipping them over on the rival console. I mean, as a previous Xbox fan, I can't say that I've been a real Xbox fan over the last couple of years, which hence is why I didn't get a Series X right away, why I chose to get a PlayStation 5 first, because I didn't like the direction that they were going in. And everybody always says, well, speak with your wallet, talk with your wallet. Well, I said, well, I'm not going to get an Xbox until they show me a reason as to why I need one. PlayStation, they're more aligned with the things that are important to me. Single player, first party, AAA games that are taking advantage of the hardware that are remaining exclusive on their platform. And then 2 years later or so, it goes to PC. That's fine. Whatever. They're just more aligned on what I'm used to. Xbox, not so much. But lately, it looked like they were about to get on a roll. They got ABK. They got Bethesda. Man, they're about to tear the game up. Now, as soon as you got a dream team together about to take the court or the football field, now all of a sudden you want to say, well, you know what? It's a couple of other teams out here that could actually use a couple of our star players. Well, go on and share them. Y'all can take them for a half a season, or you take them for a season, or whatever the case may be. Start sharing, all of these games that are going to be coming out that are supposed to be for your brand, that people have been looking forward to. You've been promising you were going to have games, that Xbox fans are your number one priority. We want everybody to feel, like they're number one when it comes to being in our ecosystem, when it comes to having our box. We want you to feel like a first class citizen. But it seems like all of that, at least at the moment, it seems like that could have possibly been all smoke and mirrors. Now, of course, like I said, next week, we're going to figure out what happens with this announcement that they're going to be having. From what I've gathered from different podcasts, because y'all know me, I ain't got no insiders. I don't know anybody in the industry. I know a few people in the industry that I've had on the show, but I don't reach out to them for this kind of stuff. I just don't. But I don't have anybody from Xbox that I know personally. So I don't have any sources. So I can only go off of what is being said in different articles and on podcasts. And it seems like it is small bit of turmoil inside when it comes to one side. It's more of the corporate side saying, hey, look, spread this stuff out to everybody. And then you have the Xbox team, Phil Spencer, possibly, Sarah Bond, possibly, as well as Matt Booty, possibly, saying, well, that's not going to work for this model. In gaming, you gotta have certain exclusives in order to attract people to the platform. So it looks like it's a lot of infighting right now with this subject. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens next week when they actually make the official announcement of what is actually happening and what the future of Xbox is going to be. I was on record saying on the podcast that I was going out and buying a Series X. I was going to buy one. I mean, of course, I got to save up a couple dollars for it. I can't go out and buy it today, but I was definitely going out and buying one because they were showing me the things that I needed to see to say, hey, they're actually really trying now. They're actually coming up with games that I can get behind. I can rock with this. And then now you're saying that I might be able to get these same games on PlayStation? Oh, man, I'm going to tell you this right now. If I can go out, it ain't my type of game, but I'm just using it as an example. If I could go out and I could buy Starfield, I could go out and get Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush, I think I would kind of rock with that. I ain't gonna front. I kind of want that a little bit. But you tell me I can get these games and you're talking about Halo and Gears of War on the PlayStation 5? Man, I'm sold. I'm out. Because it's obvious you don't care about your brand, so why should I? Why should I care about the Xbox brand if you're telling me you don't need an Xbox? You got a PlayStation, give it 6 to 9 months. We'll have that game over there, maybe a year. We'll have that game come right on over to the PlayStation and you can enjoy yourself. I'm definitely not getting the Xbox. I go on record with that. I'm not buying one at all because at that point in time, what is the need? Now, somebody could say, well, you won't be able to play the game day and date, Kiaun. I mean, aren't you going to be excited to play the game? I don't know. You know, a year exclusivity. Okay. All right. I think I can wait. And if it does get to the point where it's like, I can't wait, then I'm going to take advantage of something that Microsoft has granted me. I'm going to use my Samsung TV and I'm going to download or stream set game. And I'm going to play it that way. I'm going to take my Xbox controller, hook it up, sync it up to my TV via Bluetooth, and I'm going to go to town. That's what I'm going to do because that's what they want me to do. Now, man, granted, I don't know if I'm going to do that. I don't know. I might be blowing smoke with that one. I don't know. I can't say that I would actually do that. God, dog. No, I can't sit up here and say that I would 100% do that. Because just thinking about that, that's just not something I want to do. I don't. But if I have to wait, I have to wait. It's fine. I'll have enough games to keep me tied over until I get to it. I mean, I told y'all, I picked up Ratchet and Clank in March of last year, and I'm just getting to it this month. It's literally almost a year later that I'm getting to that game. And I mean, it's a factor of different reasons. Y'all know I'm a truck driver, so I'm out a lot during the week. I'm only getting home like 2 days, maybe tops. And I mean, at the top end, maybe 3 days a week. I'm getting home sometimes, so I'm not home a ton. So with that time, it's limited. My time is limited. So I'm not able to really game every single day. So it takes me some time to get through the games. But I say that to say that, it wouldn't be a big rush, as it were, to a certain degree. So I'm kind of in limbo with the whole Xbox situation as far as like the console goes. I don't want to see the console go away. They're talking about this next console. It's going to be 2 SKUs for the next generation, talking about one is going to be dockable. I got concerns about that too, man. How much is this going to be? Because I'm thinking about the ROG Ally and the Steam Deck. Man, aren't those things like $700, $700 to buy? And that's for this generation of graphics. So I'm sitting here and I'm wondering, how powerful is this next console going to be? Is it going to be a situation where you got the Series S and the X, where the X can only go so far because the S has to be able to keep up? I'm really in a small bit of limbo when it comes to Xbox as a whole. And of course, that's a rumor. That's not 100% confirmed. It's not even 1% confirmed at all that that's actually going to happen. But so I'll kind of take that off the table a little bit for now. But it's just the direction. I'm just concerned with the direction of Xbox is. These guys have had a major issue, and I'm about to wrap it up because this has been a long episode, but they've just had a major issue with not necessarily marketing, but with what they say. Their words don't match their actions. It's always been a major problem for them. So at this event, well, it's not even an event, whatever this thing is going to be next week, this conference or whatever may have you, what they need to do, and they really need to do this in a pinpoint accurate way, is they need to let people know exactly, verbatim what they're planning to do with the Xbox brand as a whole, because they have just struggled time and time again with their messaging. Their messaging has been abysmal for like a decade now with what they plan on doing. So we'll see what happens with this. Again, going to wrap this up. It's been an hour and 31 minutes that we've been in this thing. So let's go ahead and wrap it up. Again, I want to shout out Cody Clark and Crimson Phoenix for writing in this week. Thank y'all. I really appreciate it. And as always, if you guys want to chime in on the next episode of Listener Feedback, you can do it 2 different ways. You can either call in at 443-380-0281 and let your voice be heard, or you can email the show like Mr. Cody Clark just did. Just don't make it that long. Like I said, don't try to break this brother's record, okay? All right? But if you wanna email the show, you can feel free to do so by emailing the show at the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com. I was your host, Kiaun Mitchell. And again, thank you guys for tuning in. I believe we will be back at it again on Sunday. So, until then, till we get there on Sunday, you guys take care. Be safe out there. Bye-bye.
We talked about Halo. Josh Holmes was here earlier. That game looks phenomenal. Gears 4, Rod Ferguson's going to be by as well. That's going to be coming out. So that'll be a big game for next holiday for you guys, right?
Next holiday looks fantastic when we start looking at the lineup. I'm excited about getting to Gamescom and getting to show Scalebound and Quantum Break and Crackdown.
Those all going to be in 2016?
We haven't announced dates for all of them yet, but I mean the lineup next year is looking incredibly strong when we look at those games, and some of them actually might come a little earlier than that. But it's some of them might come this year. Well, before next E3.
Okay,
some of them maybe. Games got to be right before we ship it.